Let's go to work. All right, I'm going to talk about game management. Try not to pull a Max and be up here for 2 hours, but should be pretty quick. Just going to touch on some main points. There's going to be a lot of underlying kind of subtext in through here, but I'm going to try to stay away from those going down the rabbit hole because other guys talk about some of that subtext plenty in other presentations. So just going to try to stick to crew communication, managing situations, managing personnel, and then managing ourselves. So before we get into those 4 points, I want to talk about when does game management start. You know, we always talk about being the best pool in the state, all that good stuff, but we've got to put some stuff in action if we're going to say that as well. So I believe that game management starts on car ride. You know, if you're going on a trip, it should start in the car, talking about that game that we're getting into, maybe talking about previous games, different situations that came up in games before that we can talk about on the car ride. You're definitely going to get that with the Big Dad, some different rules stuff. If you're working here in town, try to work it out to be there early with your crew members or crew member to talk about those certain situations as well if you're not having a car ride. When we get to the site, obviously we want to be early, assess your surroundings. You know, if you're going up to Lincoln, know what you're getting into, going into the small gym there. If you're going to Hamilton, getting into a bigger gym, just assess your surroundings. We don't want to walk in the door, walk right into the locker room and start pre-gaming. Get in there, be early, assess your surroundings, know what you're getting into a little bit, okay? Locker room, obviously we talk about a lot about pre-game, making sure we have a good pre-game using that card as our guideline. Warm-ups, which is something that Sear just touched on. You know, watching the players, assessing the benches, looking at the clock, looking at the baskets. You know, we got wires hanging around or the net's good, all that good stuff. Floor conditions, you know, winter time, floor conditions, a lot of gyms, people walk right in and they're almost on the floor. They're bringing their wet shoes in there, snow, all that good stuff. So we got to make sure the floor conditions are good as well. Don't just stand there in warm-ups and look cool, okay? Be working, all right? Again, Sear touched on captain's meetings, taking care of the scorebook, knowing the points of emphasis in the captain's meeting, making sure the coaches' boxes are good. Again, we want to start the game right. Don't want to be starting with technicals and all sorts of crazy stuff, okay? Good toss, making sure the clock starts, teams and arrows are going the right way. Let's just make sure we set a good tone, get that game started off on the right foot, okay? So crew communication. Always talk about good eye contact on resumption of play, bringing that ball back in bounds after a foul violation, whatever it may be. Good eye contact, all of us are ready to go in the crew, okay? Free throws, good eye contact on free throws so we don't have any goofs there. Rotations, if you're working a 3-man game or even a 2-man game, making sure we have solid rotations with our eyes. Transitions, we're getting that look at each other, coming down in transition, making sure we're in the right spots, everything's good, okay? And then low clock, always something we work on, you know, under a minute, all that good stuff. We can use our eye contact. Along with eye contact, you know, visual, we can use verbal, okay, with hand signals, verbal cues, fouls and violations, you know, just a fist and an open hand goes a long way to communicating with your crew what the hell you got, okay? So that goes a long way, just basic hand signals on fouls and violations. Free throws, okay? 1, 2, bonus, double bonus, whatever we're doing, goes a long way to help your crew communicate. Timeouts, okay, this is one I see a lot that kind of gets looked over. You know, we blow that, timeout white, go over here, reporting to the bench. Meanwhile, your partners are standing there, coaches are standing there looking at you. What do we got? Coach, white, full. Oh, we got a full. Now we can get that information out to your crew before you go over there and report it to the bench, right? Hey, we got a full, guys. Got a full. Get a look at the coaches. If the coaches are looking at you, hey, we got full. Let them get going in their timeouts before we go report, okay? Get that information to your crew so everybody's not standing around picking their ass, wondering what's going on, okay? Bonus, obviously, you know, if we got 1-and-1 or if we're going double, again, so we're not all just standing around waiting to see what's going on. Try to get this thing moving a little bit, all right? And then low clock, okay? Low clock, especially on free throws, good time to talk, or timeouts, good time to talk, low clock. Hey, this is what we got. We're under a minute, whatever it may be, okay? Double whistles, obviously something we work on all the time, being slow to show, good eye contact, knowing where our primary, secondary defenders came from. We got to pregame that hard, what we're doing on double whistles, okay? Big part of crew communication to get our game managed the way we want it to, okay? Giving information during live balls, dead balls, okay, whether that's talking about players, coaches, any type of information that's going to help our game management. Timeouts is a good time to give information, being 100% sure, okay? See if this video pulls up here. Okay, this is a video of just live ball giving information. Just a classic case of something we see all the time, just a ball going out of bounds, and a referee doesn't quite see it, so his partner's gonna come in and help him, give him 100% information, and make sure we get the ball going the right way. Okay, so this is something we see all the time, even at the high school level. You know, this is obviously NBA guys.
And Scott Foster says no. They're off Cleveland, so they changed the call. And that's all Jones. Good reversal.
Okay, so just pretty simple stuff there. Something we see all the time. But again, make sure we're 100% if we're going to be that guy coming in, giving information. We're not just making shit up. That's going to help our game management a lot, okay? Crew consistency, fouls and violations. Again, this is something we're talking about all the time. You know, you can talk about it, but you got to be about it too. And there's a difference between good consistency and bad consistency as far as managing a game. You know, we can pregame it all we want. Hey, we want to call the block charges at one end the same way we're calling the other, and it all sounds good in theory until you get out there and you get a nut buster and stuff starts hitting the fan. You know, consistency is something we want, coaches want it, players want it, fans want it. They want you consistent on both ends, okay? But just understand there's good consistency, bad consistency. You know, if a team comes down, working a two-man game, and I'm down at lead on the baseline and I'm not doing my job, I'm kind of ball watching out here, and guard takes off for the basket and defender comes across, key sets up, and I get there late because I'm just ball watching, I'm not doing my job, and boom, that ball carrier just runs right over the defender. I come out, boop, block, boo. Okay, I get the boo birds, go down, up and down the court a couple times, and my partner Scooter, he's at the other end now at lead, same type of play, boom, kid gets run over. Scotty comes up with a foul. Oh, shit, Kalen called a block at the other end. We talked about consistency in the pregame. Block! Boo! That is bad consistency, okay? That is bad consistency, okay? And I started it by not doing my job. So see the calls, referee defenders. We can correct a bad call with a good call and not stack bad consistency on top of each other, okay? So just understand the difference there. Always have team mentality, we're supporting each other, always working towards a common goal. We got to be able to cooperate out there as officials. Okay? Talked about setting the tone on the jump ball. Want to try to avoid anything goofy, starting the game in some type of weird way. Want to have a nice clean jump ball, get the game going. Live ball stuff, always working RSBQ, looking at legal defenders, freedom of movement by everybody, staying connected to plays and game pacing. Okay, so I kind of call that just temperature gauging. You know, is the temperature cold? Everything's kind of going the way we want it to. Nobody's getting real riled up yet. Is it warm? Where stuff's starting to heat up a little bit. Now we got to start stepping in on these plays. Or is it hot? You know, we got to get in there and make sure people aren't being knuckleheads. Okay? So just another video of a live ball situation here. This one's pretty extreme. Whoop. Not something we see a lot of, but definitely could happen. So just kind of set it up. Big white dude just got a big slam. They're going to press him. That guy's going to end up getting the ball again. Okay? Defense is going to get a little frustrated. It's kind of a live ball situation here. Okay? So, got blurry on me, but just want you to, the reason I like this video is because if you look at the clock there, it's the first quarter, it's 13-7. There's 50 seconds left in the first quarter, and we got that shit going on. So, it could happen at any time. It's not like this is a blowout and the losing team was frustrated. I mean, we just got to be ready for that type of action. Again, that's pretty extreme, but just got to be ready for that type of stuff at all times to manage the game and know what to do in that situation.
What did you do?
They booted him. They booted him. Yeah. Play on. Play on. All right. So that's some live ball stuff. Obviously dead ball stuff. Managing players, coaches, status of the ball, status of the game, just always being vigilant, being plugged in, know what's going on. Again, that temperature gauge, cold, warm, hot, stepping in when we need to step in on dead balls, talking to people, talking them off the ledge a little bit. Okay, timeouts, free throws. All right, that's a great opportunity to manage. Again, coaches, players, especially players, getting them in free throws, talking to them a little bit. What are the emotions after a whistle, right? You get a play like that. Again, we see it sometimes going to the hoop, hard foul, everybody's crashing in. We got to be crashing in as well, making sure there's no extracurricular activities going on, stuff like that. Okay, so getting in there, being present, letting them know that we're there. Okay, see that on jump balls, guys diving on the ground, make sure we're getting in there. Okay, who are the players involved? Just being engaged. Okay, don't blow that whistle and stop working, all right? As much as we can, obviously we don't want to rush it if we got a big melee or anything crazy, but get to the next play if we can quickly, all right? If your partner's getting his ass chewed by a coach and we're just standing there with the ball, letting it happen, we're not being a very good crew member, okay? We're not managing that situation very well. Let's get that ball in, let's go the other way, get that coach out of your buddy's ear, okay? End of game, okay? This is stuff I've learned a lot from the big dad, just working with him over the years. You know, if we're in a close game, time, what's the foul count, who's got timeouts and how many they got, what's the score, you know, is the other team going to press? And, you know, something that big dad always talks about is officials positioning. You know, he'll go over to the bench, he'll talk to the bench, hey, my guy's going to be over here, he's got the chop, you watch him to start the clock. Hey, you're going to be over here, you watch the clock, make sure it starts, I'm going to inbound the ball. Okay, so make sure we get our positioning down. If we have an opportunity, go talk to the bench personnel, make sure they're starting that clock, and make sure they know who they're watching, okay? If we've got a blowout, we've got to be even more alert, okay? We're not looking for trouble, but we're going to deal with trouble. Again, high school kids, nobody likes to get their ass kicked. You know, their emotions are running high. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to get blown out. So we've got to keep working hard there to make sure nothing goofy happens. Okay, always keeping our cool. Personnel management. Okay, so we're talking players, coaches, fans, different personnel that we run into during a game. Okay, players. All right, this is something I've learned a lot from working with Scotty Holland over the years and watching him. Okay, he's real good at talking to players. He's real good at finding captains, you know, the all-stars, even keel guys, and also game wreckers. Okay, guys that can wreck a game for you. Okay. Recognize good sportsmanship. This is something Porchy's really good at, okay? Hey, great hustle, fellas, great hustle, great job, ladies, great job, ladies. Keep playing hard, okay? That's another part I think that gets overlooked a lot is recognizing good sportsmanship. High school kids like to be talked up. They like to be told they're doing well, okay? So when we have those opportunities, make sure we let them know that they're doing good stuff, okay? And to stay with it, all right? Try to build a rapport with coaches, okay? It's not always easy, right? Something that we're always working on. answering questions if they're valid questions, staying in control of the situation with coaches, and try to stay neutral as much as you can. We're not over talking to one coach and completely ignoring another coach. That's going to get you in trouble. Okay? So manage those coaches as best we can. Poor behavior when it comes to players and or coaches. Okay? Try to get a quick, quiet word with them early. Try to calm them down. Try to get them back on your side. Captains, try to find those captains or a coach. Usually an assistant coach can sometimes help you out with a kind of a knucklehead player. Visual, verbal stops. Hey, that's enough. Hey, we're done. No more right now. Okay? Using those verbal cues. Warnings, intentionals, technicals, flagrants, just knowing all those steps that are in our rule book that we can take to manage those situations as well. Try to address the behaviors early, get out of trouble early. If not, then we can go step 2 and start administering those kind of things. Okay? Last video here on some of that stuff. Poor behavior. Just kind of a kid, loses his cool a little bit. So we're looking at 45 black, big hoss right in the middle, big hoss. All right. Feels like he gets fouled right there. What's he gonna do? So they called it intentional. I kind of read the comments on this video. They didn't kick him out. His coach just took him out. And then there's a little bit more. So we've got to keep refereeing. Obviously, we got our eyes on this kid. He's going to the bench. Bam.
That brings up a good question.
Yep.
So is he a player? Do you report that as a player? Is that a bench type?
It's a good question. So they gave him an intentional. It wasn't a flagrant. They didn't kick him out. And then he went over, slapped his bench, clapped his hands, said something, and then they whacked him. Yeah. And what happened is, I read some more on this, they didn't throw him out, his coach threw him out. His coach told him to take a walk. So that's what happened there. But that actually happened to me. I don't remember who I was working with. Working out in Frenchtown a couple years ago, a big tall kid from Deer Lodge. Big tall kid that Deer Lodge had a couple years back. Got fouled, we fouled him out. You know, he just had 5 quick fouls. He was playing like shit. Went over the bench, hit the back of the chair. The back of the chair went flying into the stands. You know, we weren't paying attention. We missed it. So, you know, AD was all pissed off at us after the game because the kid was throwing his chairs and we didn't tee him up and we missed it. We didn't see it. So you got to keep refereeing. Just the last part of personnel management, just game administration, knowing where they're at, letting them handle fans. We don't want to get into all that stuff. Okay. Last part of it, self-management. Okay, so we've got to be able to manage ourselves if we're going to take care of all this other stuff. All right. So staying in control, being calm in high-intensity situations, nice strong whistle with strong mechanics. Okay, just looking our part. Approachability. Like Bobby there.
It's a flattering picture of it, too.
It's my favorite picture. Approachability, we're reasonably answering questions from players and coaches, having confidence when we do so, knowing the situation and what to say when. You know, if a coach is really hot, wants to get after you, probably not the best time to go up to him and try to make a joke and chat with him, okay? So just know the situation, hot or cold, when we can approach people, all right? Obviously, we talked about our appearance, you know, uniformed, being tall, relaxed, focused, moving for angles, not leaning, not being lazy, okay? So good strong appearance out there. It goes a long way. Mistakes, managing our own mistakes. We all make them. Just learn our own different ways of handling those mistakes. That'll transfer over into that game management stuff on the big picture, okay? Something I always ask, you know, the kids that I coach in high school sports, you know, what's your why? Why are you doing this, right? Okay, if you're doing this for the right reasons, then your game management is going to be a heck of a lot easier than if you're not, okay? Because you're going to be out there, you're going to be grumpy by the end of the year, pissed off at the world, okay, and your games are going to be tough to manage. But if you're having fun, you're loving being out there with the kids, working with them, it's going to be a better experience for you, okay? Always gaining experience, officiating, something where we're always learning, so be open to always learning, okay? And I like that picture because Bobby has two different shoes on. If you look closely, he's got two different shoes on. He's got the Zig Tech on this side and some old New Balance shoe over there. So that was really funny at Loyola a couple years ago because he was running down the floor like this the whole game. Because one shoe is about 2 inches taller than the other. So just to wrap it up, always being honest. You know, we're not out there guessing. It's going to lose a lot of your credibility as far as trying to manage that game. Being honest with players and coaches, everybody involved, especially your crew members. We don't want to be giving each other false information, okay? Don't take things personally. There's lots of emotions out there. The fans, the players, the coaches, they're always going to be one-sided. They're always going to want to defend their team, so we got to stay neutral, manage that game the best we can, and not take things personally and let that affect our game management, okay? Address actions, issues as promptly as possible. Try not to let things fester over early, late into the game. It's just going to be a lot of trouble for us. We're always assuming the best, but we're prepared for the worst, okay? So again, going into games, positive attitude. We're not saying, God, it's going to be a shitty game. Man, it's going to be a terrible game. Try to have a good attitude going into every single game you work, and then go from there. Joel always says we're going to take care of business. Take care of business tonight. So any questions? Yes, sir.
What are some tips on staying neutral?